Folks, Rebecca Moorhead here with Roe Realty, and I'm standing over a balcony of probably one of the prettiest backyards I think I've ever sold. I'm going to pan this and see if I can show it to you so you can see how pretty this is. Look at that landscaping in that pool. Isn't that gorgeous? So the other thing you can't see in the video is that thermometer is pegged at about 105, so I figured I would just stay inside for my video today. But I did want you to get to see it. Now, before you get your hopes up, this property is sold. We had it on the market for a couple of days. We had multiple offers, and now we're under contract and moving towards closing. So you may be wondering, why am I showing this to you if it's not available? And the reason is because a lot of times people ask me, well, the hard part's getting the house sold. What happens next? Well, really, the work really starts once it goes under contract, because there's a lot of moving pieces that need to all happen at the same time in order for the closing to happen on time. So I thought I'd take you through briefly what that process was and what's involved in a closing. So the contract is signed and all the parties have certain deadlines they have to adhere to. So it starts with the first and probably most important thing is for the buyer to schedule their inspections within their time frames. They need to come in and have the general home inspection, and then possibly any additional systems like maybe a pool or an irrigation system, maybe a termite inspection. So all of those things need to happen. And then if something turns up in the inspection, it's up to the buyer's agent and the listing agent to work with the buyer and the seller to either negotiate repairs, a credit, or maybe it's just an as-is sale and that's for the buyer's information only. The next piece of the puzzle that's happening is the loan. So the buyer has a responsibility, unless they're paying cash, to go ahead and start their loan application quickly. A lot of regulations changed after the housing downturn that we saw several years ago. So if you haven't taken out a mortgage in, say, more than 8 to 10 years, it's a whole new ballgame. It's very different. The regulations were put in place to protect the consumer from taking out loans they couldn't afford or didn't understand. But I'll tell you, it's a much, much more difficult process to get all the documentation that the lender is now required to get to show that really, yes, you can afford the home. So there's going to be a lot of paperwork that's required and follow-up. And then at the same time, the lender is also ordering an appraisal to make sure that the value of the home is appropriate for the amount that they're lending. They want to make sure that you're not overpaying for a house that maybe they're lending too much money on, so they have to coordinate and have the appraisal done. Any issues that may come up with that, often the agents will be responsible for working with the lender to try to rebut an appraisal that maybe you disagree with. The next piece of the puzzle is the title work. Obviously, the seller has a house to sell and the buyer wants to buy, which means the seller has to convey the deed or the title to the new buyer. Well, the title company's job is to make sure that A, the seller actually has the right to do that and that they do own the property free and clear of any other claims against the property. And also to provide title insurance to the new buyer that just in case somebody turns up next week and says, hey, my great-great-grandfather owned this house and I would like it back. The title company is going to do the research on the unbroken chain of title to make sure that the seller truly does have full ownership to be able to sell that property. They're also going to check for any liens or claims against the title. These could be unpaid taxes. There might be an assessment either by the city or by the county or the homeowners association even, or sometimes even a contractor's lien. If a contractor's done work on a property and didn't get paid, they may place a lien, which is just a claim against a debt against the property. And so all that needs to be cleared up before the seller is allowed to sell the property and convey that title to the buyer. And all of these moving pieces are happening all at the same time. And usually that's not happening in a bubble because the buyer is coming from somewhere into the new house. And so they're trying to time and coordinate their move. And the seller is moving somewhere and probably needs the proceeds from the sale to move into their new property. So there's a lot of moving parts, and it's the realtor's job to keep up with all of those moving parts at the same time, make sure everything is happening timely, to help anyone who's got any snags that come up to make sure that they get resolved quickly, and keep everyone calm and reassured that, hey, this happens every day. We know what we're doing, and we're going to get this taken care of so that you can close quickly and on time. So that's it. That's what we're doing right now in this property. As a matter of fact, we're moving forward towards closing. Everything's going really well so far. And if you have any questions or if we can help you with any of your real estate needs, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at Roe Realty. Thank you.